And so sinfully even quicker to the See No Evil Cinem-Anniversary-Rhesus for The Master, turning 10 years old this week. Look, I love kung fu movies too, but every time I get my hopes of rewatching the Paul Thomas Anderson movie dashed by the TV, I plot revenge on the Shaolin Temple. And doing so would still be less unhinged than The Master's frontman Freddie Quell, who earned Joaquin Phoenix the lead actor Oscar nom. Freddie Quell is half man, half red flag. It feels like back then you needed a criminal act named after yourself before anyone would be like, whoa, watch out for that guy. Like you needed to pioneer a new form of assault. But you don't just see Freddie's disturbance get laughed off in interpersonal relations. But the point is, The Master begins with the military's haphazard psych debrief of this damaged guy and just blasts him off into society to raw dog life. I think I'm showing my Leto Joker PTSD here. Damaged society. And guaranteed this was the one that made Todd Phillips say, "That's Joker." "You're all blessed with the rejuvenating powers of youth," a military bigwig says to the suffering soldiers, then bye-bye into the world. In fact, the system's not just indifferent, but almost seems more interested in the behavioral data collection than healing veterans. I'd say PTA should try an MK Ultra story next. Qual then breezes from job to job, only to turn into a crazed cyclone when daddy issues arise. Reminded of a traumatic upbringing in certain customers or co-workers, compounded with something like a jealousy at the normalness of the lives of others. Especially since there's a pre-war love he hopes to return to, but must feel like he'd only f*** it up in his state. Fortunately, none of this is in your face. The writing's superb, and actually the voice of the score folds in the unspoken perfectly. No alarms and no surprises, as the job's down to Radiohead all-rounder and genius Johnny Greenwood. Sadly, this was also the final major role for another genius, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Please listen for the signs of self-destruction in those around you. That Oscar-nominated role presents an opportunity to Phoenix's Freddie Quell of a path to healing. Sadly enough, ironically. Again, this is not at all obvious, but you get these sad glimmers of hope in an otherwise completely random wreck of a man during his therapy sessions, with the master Lancaster Dodd, aka Hoffman. But that squishiness aside, it all moves with a sense of a storm brewing, a clashing of forces between the atavistic caveman Freddie Quell and the contrived wise man in Lancaster Dodd. You're sort of tricked for a long time thinking the story inevitably explodes from the Mr. Hyde end of things, but obviously it's the fragile fake civility of the cult leader Dr. Jekyll that's the horror here. They love each other and they loathe each other, largely for recognizing one easily sees through the BS and defense mechanisms of the other. An exquisitely written unity of opposites, mirrored in its larger allegory for the age of PR spin meets blood and guts industrialism, like an extension of the time bomb frenemies Plainview and Sunday in PTA's previous masterpiece There Will Be Blood. I might have to take the shame of under-talking to this one to YouTube, but till then, why don't you go say happy 10-year Cinem-Anniversa-Rhesus this week to another fascinating, tortured half-drama, half-thriller thing in The Master. Absolutely watch this. I'm off to lick my wounds. Maybe I'll deliver next week's episode decapitated if the universe keeps letting me shave myself. You know what? All Quiet on the Western Front is also ours, but actually moves decently. It's worth a watch. But also, definitely return to The Master, Joaquin Phoenix, Philip Seymour Hoffman, two spooky dudes, excellent cinema. Same time, same place, 7 days, see no evil.